In the previous video, we designed this section on Dan and his story. Let's now add a section below. And in order to do so, let's first take a look at the sketch we made. And we said we want to have some text here. We want to have a widget on the right hand side with some stock prices. Now we probably have a very similar structure to one we had up here, just here this time the text on the left hand side and this image, or in this case it's going to be a widget on the right hand side. Now when I say widget, I mean we integrate a widget from a website called TradingView. TradingView is a website meant for stock traders and analysts, and they have a lot of information. You can analyze stock prices there, but they have also these free widgets which we can integrate. Now, what do I mean when I say widget? Widget are pre-built scripts like this stock script here, for example, which offers the most recent stock prices. And they are quite common amongst many websites. So you might have seen YouTube videos displayed on websites, or SoundCloud music, or you've seen a chatbot on some websites. These are all integrated using widgets. And you might want to integrate your own widget in your website at some point. And for that reason, I'm showing you how to do that. Now, you probably won't use a TradingView widget. You might use a YouTube video or SoundCloud integration, but it's always going to be the same process. Basically, it's just copying this code you see here and integrating it on the website. Now, for YouTube videos, Webflow actually offers an integration directly. You can use this YouTube media thing here, but for all other widgets, you have to follow the same steps, which we are going to do in this video. All right, in order to add the next section, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a section element and I'm going to drop it at the bottom of the page. There we go. Now we have the next section added. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a container element and drop it inside the section so that we can, again, center content nicely on that page. Now, again, we want to have two columns like in the section above. So it's reasonable to just take, again, two div blocks with which we can do our columns. I'm just going to drag and drop them into the page and make sure that they are on the same level. There we go. Now the next thing is I'm going to take this container element and give it a styling of flex container. This is exactly the same styling we applied to the container element above. And you can see we can maybe reuse some styling here. So it would be good if this section has about a similar padding as the section above. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this section and I'm going to change the class name we applied to the section earlier. Earlier we gave it a relatively specific class name specific to this section. So I'm going to remove this bio and just leave it as section. And I'm going to apply the same styling to the section below. So we can keep some consistency within our design and don't have to reapply stylings on the different section elements. Now we could as well take the stylings we applied to these two div elements. However, I think in this case, I want to apply some slightly different stylings. So in this case, I'm going to give them new class names. In order to style them differently, I'm going to call the left div block left column and the right div block right column. And we said that the left column is supposed to contain most of the text and should look a bit bigger than the right column. So I'm going to make this a width of 60% and the right column a width of 40%. And again, we cannot currently see anything on the page because these two div elements don't contain anything. So let's add a heading element so everything becomes a bit more visible. I'm going to drop this heading element inside the left column and immediately going to change it to H2 so we don't have more than one H1 heading on the page. The next step I'm going to do is I'm going to drop some rich text element below that. And now if we preview, we see some content here already. Here we are going to add our stock elements. Let's do that now.